It's currently 10:51 p.m. and this is the progress I have so far on the boots. I didn't really work much on the special project polystyrene drawing today. Just a little bit in the past hour. In which I did the black ultrafine Sharpie line and then the brown ultrafine lines, and then these rings that are supposed to connect the shoelaces to the rest of the boots. I did that within the past half hour or so, those details. And then if I recall correctly, during primarily the late morning hours, I did the details that I didn't just mention, except for whatever details that I already did prior to today. From 5:45 in the morning to roughly 6 in the morning, I had 2 cups of coffee with these sort of breakfast pastries that Dad says his mother made, though I got the feeling that they looked store-made to me. Maybe there's no difference between how the stores do it and how Dad's mom made them, but maybe because that kind of pastry tends to be hard every time I see it, so there's no difference either way, but they were delicious. And after the picture, I had another cup of coffee, and another set of 2 of those pastries afterward. Yeah, they were a nice texture. They had raisins and nuts embedded within them that added some good flavors and texturings. Though just having pastries isn't really much of a breakfast, so I felt a little hungry around 10:30 in the morning. I think by somewhere between 9 and 10 in the morning, I finished all of the coffee that was left for me, which included 2 different mugs from the one I poured what was left over into the pot into. There were 3 mugs. One that I used to get fresh coffee, and 2 others that were left partially full. In our fridge. Essentially serving as cold brew. In the past hour or so, I think I've had roughly 2 cups of plain coffee. I always get it plain. That way it's calorie free. I think in the morning, morning hours, I had the equivalent of 4 cups of coffee over a few hours. If I recall correctly. And then around noon, I microwaved some leftover toasted ravioli. An Italian sausage. Microwaved it for 1.5 minutes. Put some tomato sauce on the toasted ravioli. But not on the Italian sausage / hot dogs. And then I recall shortly before 10 in the morning, and then around 1 p.m. to 1:30 p.m. I ended up spitting and coughing up some phlegm. I think it's from residual cold. I had a cold earlier, about maybe a week or two ago, if I recall correctly. I recently had a cold, and I think the phlegm that was coughed and spit up are residual effects from that cold. I think the time before 10 in the morning lasted for a handful of minutes. And then the occurrence from 1 to 1:30 in the afternoon. It was worse. Yeah, but still not that bad. At least compared to the cold itself. And I haven't really spit up any phlegm since then. These are toasted bagel sandwiches with some meats and cheeses that Dad got from Wegmans either during today's after work trip. Some of that stuff from that trip and other stuff from an earlier trip to Wegmans. There's corned beef, other types of meat, and pepper jack cheese. These bagel sandwiches are pretty enjoyable. The bit of hunger that occurred around 10:30 in the morning went away within half an hour. And noon is a common time for me to have lunch. It's usually around that time. The cup I used for those two nighttime cups of coffee, it was different from the 3 mugs that were used during the morning hours. Speaking of which, while I had the first set of those 2 breakfast pastries, I dipped one of them one time in my cup of coffee because I think I heard that's something you can do with those pastries. And the result was fine, but it wasn't really for me. I preferred both the texture and flavor of those pastries without them being dipped in coffee. Also, during the afternoon phlegm attack, I had a couple of glasses of water from the kitchen sink, tap water essentially, since I believe I heard somewhere that staying hydrated is one way you can keep from having too much phlegm. Here's where I'm currently at in terms of the task sets. I recall falling asleep around 2:30 p.m. and then waking up around 7 p.m.